Hey YouTubers, coming at you live, looking at the new Lumix S5 camera. Panasonic's latest entry into the DSLR mirrorless combination, mirrorless combo. You gotta say, I love what I'm seeing so far. It is basically the GH5 evolved into a full frame camera. Last year we had the S1 and it was pretty bulky and it had the XQD cards instead of SD cards, and it was kind of annoying upgrading to all that. This one is GH5 evolved into full frame. I love it. It's everything I could want. It's the same, it's basically the same weight. It has the same rotating viewfinder, so you can do a blog video if you need to. And there's me. You can flip it around. It's basically everything you want in a camera. It has double the SD card slots. And as you can see, this top slot says SD XD2. Basically, that's just a more high res. If you're doing like ProRes 4K, maybe you need an SD2 memory card instead of the usual SDXC1, which I only use ones and it's been fine. And ones will fit, and ones will work in both slots. It's just the top slot. It's just the top slot will only work with the, or it's just the XD. It's just that the SDX. It's just that the XD. It's just that the SDXC2s will only work in the top slot and not the bottom. The SD cards that we love and always use, they can fit in both slots. It's just the top slot is for the SDXC2. You're doing like ProRes 4K, I mean 10-bit, I mean you're going all out on the res, maybe upgrade to the SDXC2 memory cards instead of the one, but honestly I really have only used the one, and that way I can use both slots and not have any problems with it. And all the footage has just looked brilliant. It's a 20x60 kit lens. And I actually don't believe this guy has image stabilization. It's all in the body. It's a dual access image stabilization. Much like the GH5, probably upgraded, most likely, since it's been a few years. And I actually did some street photography the other day, and it with just a shoulder rig and no stabilizer and no gimbal, and it did a really good job. And the image stabilization did a great job. The live view monitor is tiltable, rotatable. It's just like what we love at the GH5. It's basically the GH5 and the S1 boned, and bam, out came the S5 camera. So it's the white balance and ISO quick buttons on the top. And it's just all around a great camera. The only major differences I see is the HDMI port is now a micro HDMI. That's probably the only flaw that I can see, and it's not really even a flaw, it's just perhaps a smaller port, so you just have to be more careful with it. And then it also has a USB-C where it goes into where you can use it to transfer files onto your computer, but it also works as a power button. You can charge the battery and use the camera at the same time. Although I gotta say, I used this on a shoot today, and as you can see, the battery just dropped 2 levels. So it's a pretty high functioning battery. The S5 has its own unique battery with a little downward slope here. I'm guessing because they don't want you to use GH5 batteries. It's essentially the same battery, just a little more powerful, I believe. So they didn't want you to use GH5 batteries, so they put in a little slot here, and only these shaped batteries will fit inside the S5. But these will also fit inside the GH5, so you can go down, you just can't go up. You can't use GH5 batteries in the S5, but you can use S5 batteries in the GH5, if that makes any sense at all. Just have to have that little slope at the top right in order to fit into the camera. And again, I guess they just put that in as a safety to make sure you don't use GH5 level batteries. You have to use the new S5 batteries. They are more powerful, have a better output. 7.2 volt, I believe. Yeah, these are 7.2 volts. Maybe they're probably more powerful, and that's probably what's needed to power this guy, and not the GH5 level batteries that we all have. And unfortunately, Panasonic is getting really slow with their manufacturing, and the extra batteries aren't available yet. They're only coming with 1 battery per unit. But they last a pretty long time, so you should be okay for most part. So again, all in all, a very beautiful camera. I would say this is definitely the best buy if you are looking at Panasonic Lumix cameras and you are caught between the S1 and the S5. I would definitely go with the S5. It is smaller, but it has the same sensors, same video output. So feel free to comment if you have any questions about the S5. I can do tests for you if you're thinking on buying. So check out my other videos on Uptrend Productions YouTube channel. And if you want to turn your Lumix into a moneymaker, check out my How to Business series where we go over corporations versus LLCs, contracts, and how to sell.